Shout out Denim Gang. Alright mate, what is going on? Welcome back to the second installment of this series, my favourite tracks of the month, May edition. This month was littered with many releases across many genres, quite a busy month in fact. So hopefully I'll show you guys some new songs that you've not heard of before. So without further ado, and in no particular order, let's just bloody get into it mate.
If you're a fucking fair dinkum fucking full-grown Aussie, this is what you'd have for breakfast, you fucking dog cunts.
Okay, the first track we have is a new one from Juelz, Defqon Bounce. Not Defqon 1, unfortunately.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg.
I've already talked about this track in my High Octane EP review, so go watch that if you haven't already. Links will be in the description below. But this track is just too good, I just had to talk about it again in here. It seems like Sable Valley has a slew of fat releases coming out soon, and starting off with this one, it's just purely amazing. 3 different unique drops in this track, all flowing together so coherently. You can definitely recognise Juelz' signature sound. The vocal chops layered throughout the track, coated with those percussive elements. I especially love this opera soprano vocal chant. Then finishing off with that winding, meandering future bass drop. Just so enjoyable and impressive. Alright, the next one we have is Automhate Execute, released on his new Term and Hate EP on Disciple Roundtable. This tune is a certified slapper, no lie. Really love the ideas in this one, starting off with the intro, just so bouncy and jumpy. The percussion is just so clean, mixed in with those trombone sounds, just so cool. That pre-drop vocal sample is so sick.
Execute.
And the drop comes in and it just fucking bangs, just slaps you around. Very metallic, robotic. Shut the fuck up. Very metallic, robotic, and industrial. Yeah, so fat. It's quite similar to Killfeed's Cheesecake, but I don't mind honestly, cause they're both bangers. Well. Thought I'd never see the day, Never Say Die, one of the most prominent dubstep labels, would release a house track. I'm not complaining because this new one from Must Die featuring the Pom-Poms, Don't Even Bother, is just so sick. Love the experimental direction Must Die took with this track. You could probably describe it as hybrid dubstep bass house. Very Joyride-esque. Has that bass house kick drum pattern, laid with that signature Must Die flavour. And the vocals from the Pom-Poms, they're just fucking gorgeous. They definitely hit home. Because right now, it is the end of the world tonight, and it feels alright. Also, the drop is lovely, just perfectly distorted, slightly gurgling, and just makes you want to dance. That breakbeat outro as well, mixed in with those vocal cuts, just overall they make for such a unique song. Very pleasing to see Must Die and Never Say Die experiment with different genres. Release hardstyle. Speaking of hardstyle, the next tune is of the hardstyle variety, coming straight out of the Italian Campagna. I'm not sure what's in the Italian water, but it's definitely something mind-altering. Because these Italian producers have been making banger after banger. Ruler, Malice, Sickmode, Krowdexx, just to name a few. And this new track by Krowdexx, Only Kicks, is no exception. Honestly, I thought it was a bit of a meme that they released this, because who in their right mind decides to release a track with 13 different kicks? Yes, I shit you not, 13 different kicks in this track. Not gonna lie, it is stupidly good. It has everything from laser kicks to Russian hard bass, to up-tempo peep kicks, to bloody bird chirps. It's just mind-blowing. That carousel melody in the bridge just adds to the comedy. And it doesn't help that the kick rolls are just disgusting.
Only kicks.
Alright, speaking of the Italian water, there is something in the French water as well. Ivory, Samplifier, Abstract, Ecraze, Graphyt, just insanely talented producers. And this new Ecraze and Graphyt remix of Psycho by Modestep is just brilliant. These French boys have absolutely smashed it. The synths are super grungy and grimy, it's like there's a wetness to it. Yeah, very solid production, hits immensely hard. Percussion very clean as well. It's a very powerful and robust track. The next one is the new one from UBUR, Downfall. This big boy has put out an absolute belter. This tune knows exactly what it's doing. Wow, I can't believe I just personified music. Firstly, those screamo vocals are just super terrifying, definitely fitting with the overall motif. Complemented with those metallic machine guns, this track is just full of them. Just insanely aggressive and extremely impactful. Yeah, it definitely grabs your attention straight away. I can see this going off live whenever someone drops it. So yeah, definitely a banger. Also, very funny Easter egg at the end of the tune. Genuinely, I don't know if UBUR feels this way about this track, but I'm pretty sure he just put it in for comedic effect.
And now a word from our sponsors.
I'd like to probe Michael.
Alright, next up we have Sickmode and Cryex, Runaway. This track is a whole lot of fun, very blissful and full of summer vibes, but it still maintains that raw, underground, experimental sound that Sickmode brings. A whole bunch of gated goodness. I love every kick in this track. Popping, explosive, bursting with flavor, just extremely spicy. Even briefly cutting away to that metallic clunking kick is just so good. Finishing off with that melodic last drop, with amazing synth leads as well, just overall super fat. Alright, this next artist, I just had to put them in this list again. Yes, I'm talking about Rebelion, because everything they touch just becomes golden. Man, I don't know what these Scottish lads are eating, but it is definitely something, because they're making some absolute bangers lately. Must be some genetically modified haggis. But these guys are definitely very talented producers, showcasing both the brutal and distorted, as seen with their last month release Crush Mode, as well as the more emotional and melodic side, as seen with their new track Dusk Till Dawn, featuring Ava Silva. These vocals by Ava Silva, they're just so gorgeous and really catchy.
Can't hold us down, 'cause we'll fight from dusk till dawn.
The synth leads are so sick as well, extremely explosive and infectious, and I absolutely adore that second drop. The kick roll at the start, mixed in with those beautiful Rebellion synth leads, man, just fantastic.
'Cause we'll fight from dusk till dawn.
Can't wait to see them live again. Alright, next up is Oddprophet, Migrane VIP. This Welsh boy has come through with another banger. The original was already so good, but I think he's made it better. Has his signature sound design elements, the synths are super crunchy, plus that growling in the second drop just adds to the madness. The kicks, the snares, all the other percussive constituents, they're just so polished, and all melded together, it's just so good. And oh my god, I do not expect a drum and bass third drop. It just shows you how good of a producer Oddprophet is. But yeah, overall, very sick tune. Speaking of D&B, this next one is from a D&B legend. That is Macky Gee's Obsessive. Classic Macky Gee production, sound design, has his signature synths littered throughout this whole track. Just super lively and bouncy. The kick and snare drum pattern just so well placed. Percussion is mixed down so well. Filthy bass lines, very animated and bustling. Yeah, an extremely mad tune. Alright, next up we have the new one from E-Force, Judgement Day. And let me tell you right here, right now, this track is just fucking amazing. Just so raw, incisive, and wholesome. The kicks are extremely gated, which if you didn't know, I love. And is mixed in with those melodic leads. Just so good, man. Such a well-chosen pre-drop vocal as well. Really hypes you up for the drop.
You son of a bitch. Come on.
I love that surprise Frenchcore kick. So unexpected, just comes out of nowhere. And the fake out second drop into a disgustingly fat kick. I think I was left speechless the first time I heard it.
Son of a bitch! Come on! Come on!
Finishing off with a melodic climax. It's just bloody beautiful, mate. Alright, next up is a very unique, interesting, and boundary-breaking tune, which has the whole dubstep community divided. Yes, I'm talking about Phonon Polyriddim. I'd never heard of Phonon before because this track just came up in my SoundCloud feed, and I'm glad that it did. Super bouncy first drop, but then it turns into some insanely scary Nightmare on Elm Street rhythm soundtrack. Just what? Dead set, I got goosebumps the first time I heard this. Extremely sharp, so jagged, jarring, and disjointed, but it works in a good way. I love the sound design, it's so eccentric, mind-blowing, honestly. The percussion is so clean, the BPM and key changes are so sick as well. Mixed in with those random phone dial tones. No words. And the piano roll in the bridge, just so fucking good. Hopefully this will influence more producers to make something out of the ordinary, moving away from the norm. But yeah, we'll definitely be following Phonon from now on. Alright, next track we have is Randy and Villain, Monday Go Fuck Yourself. Released on Randy's new album, We Run the Night. Randy has definitely turned it up a notch from his usual stuff, and has made a hardcore banger. Firstly, that news broadcast intro is quite cool and pretty funny.
911 emergency.
I want to kill myself.
The variety of kicks in this track is just amazing. Just when you expect it to be over, Randy just gives you more and more. The mid-intro kick is pretty nice. Very hollow sounding, but hits very hard. Pretty much a precursor for everything else to come. Personally, I love that surprise pit kick, just comes out of nowhere.
Put your middle fingers up!
Finishing off with that melodic French chord type kick, just genuinely brilliant. Alright, next one on this list is TYNAN FMSU. I mean, what can't this man do? Last month was just magical future bass with his remix of Potions, and now we have stupidly good drum and bass. I'm assuming FMSU stands for Fuck Myself Up because that's exactly what this tune does. 3 different, unique, and ferocious drops, just completely splattering and slapping you around, but it still maintains that great chemistry, just flows together so well. The build-ups are so exciting.
Just start tearing up shit.
So good. Mixed in with that intricate sound design and layering, just so good. I love that whirling, winding synth lead in the first drop. It's almost as if you're racing to a finish line and destroying everything in your path.
Here comes the beat!
I also love that melded future drum and bass third drop. The percussion is so hard hitting, and those sliced vocal cuts are just brilliant. Yeah, definitely check this out. It's just bloody stupendous. Alright, next up we have the hardcore king and queen, Angerfist and Miss Kate, Bogotá, with their 2020 refix. And I might piss off some hardcore elitists when I say this, but I genuinely enjoy this track. That old school hardcore kick in the first drop is fucking amazing. Extremely juicy and full of punch. Perfectly distorted, so audacious and energetic. It's like you've been transported to that Thunderdome 1996 video where everyone's off their head. I mean, when Angerfist played it at Knockout Outdoor in Melbourne last year, I think my reaction tells the whole story.
Let's
So yeah, very disgusting tune, this one. Alright, moving on to our honorable mentions. The first one we have is Tollgate by Ayonikz and Akeos. Definitely did not expect this one to get released on Slander and Nightmare's label Good Vibrations. The sound design and ideas are sick. Overall, just a very impactful and crunchy rhythm tune. Definitely love those fake out sections before each drop as well.
Sick.
Next one, shout out to the boys Tech Genesis and Point Clare with Point Clare's remix of Amber. A very distorted and jarring rendition of the original. You just feel like writhing and rolling around deep in that bass. Those laser pops as well, just banging. Next up is the new one from Dither, Kick It. It's just Dither giving us his classic hardcore kick drums. Lovely synth leads and kick rolls as well. That trap section in the bridge in the middle of the track is pretty good. And the kick in the third drop, just beautiful. Next one is the new release from Hukae and JOOL, Vonzo. Just 3 different unique drops which just seem to build off each other. Really love those vinyl scratch effects as well. Just very industrial and metallic sounding. The percussion and layering in this track is just amazing, and the sound design is just simply to die for. And finally, we finished off this month with the new one from X-Pulse and Splinter, Illusion. Released on the new Gearbox digital album compilation, Gearbox Presents Lockdown 2.0. Also go watch my review on that compilation, link will be in the description below. This is easily the best on the compilation, I feel. It starts off with some eerie future bass vibes, with that dark and distorted sub bass. And then suddenly, gated kicks out of nowhere. Just extremely unique, brutal, ferocious, and crunchy. Definitely check it out. Anyway, that is it from me, my favourite tuners of last month, May 2020. Comment if you agreed with me, or if you think I missed out on anything. Hope you guys liked this video. Anyway, please like and subscribe to the channel, really means a lot. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.
A fucking VB.
Long neck.